If you feel like you're doing most things right and you're still struggling to lose weight, you probably have one of these 7 hidden bottlenecks. As a nutrition and wellness coach and personal trainer, these are the same exact bottlenecks that I've seen across hundreds of clients that have successfully lost 15 to 30 pounds within 90 days. I'm gonna walk you through all 7, help you figure out which one you're dealing with, and give you a solution for each of them. Bottleneck number 1 has nothing to do with food and everything to do with recovery. If you're consistently sleeping 6.5 hours or less, 2 things are happening at once. Your insulin sensitivity drops significantly, meaning your body has a harder time removing sugar from your bloodstream, and thus more of it is getting stored as fat. The second thing happening is your testosterone is taking a hit. And ladies, this matters for you too. For both males and females, testosterone is critical for having the energy, the motivation, and the desire to do everything else on this list. Undersleeping quietly damages both of these. So the question to know if this is your bottleneck is, are you consistently sleeping 7 or more hours per night? If not, start here. The second bottleneck involves a hormone so many people get confused about. Most people hear cortisol and think of it as the stress hormone. But the fact is, cortisol is actually really helpful and it's directly related to blood sugar. At roughly 4 a.m. each morning, cortisol slowly starts to rise in your body, and that's what leads you to wake up and feel alert and motivated to start the day. The problem is, when you feel a rapid spike in cortisol from a stressful event, your body then dumps sugar into your bloodstream so that you can fight or flee. Now, from a survival standpoint, that's amazing because that gets you ready to run away from the lion or fight the neighboring tribe. But in the modern world, if you're chronically stressed and your cortisol stays up here, you're gonna be constantly dumping sugar into your bloodstream. That then leads your body to pump out more insulin to try and remove it. And when insulin is high, you can't burn fat. Full stop. The modern version of this is not dramatic, stressful events. It's constant, low-level stimulation that builds up. Long hours, multiple kids, all-day screens, and minimal access to nature and sunlight and real decompression. Your body doesn't know the difference between emotional stress and neurological overload. Cortisol goes up either way. Now, the good news is the fix is incredibly simple, and this is something I beat the drum on with every single one of my clients. In the modern era, the easiest way to lower your cortisol is to implement what I call no tech windows. And for most people, that just means in the morning and before bed, you avoid screens. You may feel like watching that TV show or waking up and scrolling for a little bit isn't that detrimental, but staring at an LED screen, it triggers the same stress response. You don't have to be perfect with this, but my clients are always surprised by the impact it has. And the more days you can implement it, the lower your baseline stress will get. And the question to know if this is the bottleneck you have, pretty simple. Check your screen time. If you don't have at least 1, ideally 2 hours per day where you're not using technology, start here. This next one always catches people who are trying to eat better. High protein is the right direction. It keeps you full, it helps you build muscle, it takes more energy to digest, and it triggers much less insulin than carbohydrates. But that last point is key. Protein does trigger insulin. So if you've added more protein to an already high carbohydrate intake, you're compounding the insulin response when you should be trying to reduce it. More protein is only part of the equation. So here's the framework that I teach to all of my clients. There are 4 true macros: protein, fat, fiber, and fermented foods. If you build your nutrition around those, you will naturally remove the refined and simple carbohydrates from your diet that are the fastest to trigger insulin. And that combination for keeping your insulin lower is a key factor in creating the environment for weight loss. If you want to know if this is your bottleneck, the question to ask is how much protein and how many carbohydrates am I having on a daily basis? If you're having more than 100 grams of carbs and more than 100 grams of protein, and you have some degree of metabolic dysfunction, you're probably putting too much strain on insulin. The 4th bottleneck on this list is absolutely key. But before we do, if this content is valuable for you, be sure to subscribe to the channel. These are the frameworks and protocols I'm constantly pumping out. And if you want to actually read through and try and implement some of the foundational pillars that I recommend to almost all of my clients, there's a free playbook that you can get access to using the link in the description. So the 4th bottleneck on the list involves a deficit and muscle activation. Now, let me make this really simple for you. Your body has 3 energy storage systems. You have your immediate energy demands, you have your short-term energy storage, and then last but not least, everything over that is stored as fat. So if you want carbohydrates in your diet to get stored in that second bucket instead of getting stored as fat, your muscles need to be activated. When you're not training and making your muscles hungry, excess energy in the form of carbohydrates and calories defaults to that third bucket of fat. That's just how the system works. That's why you can have an extremely lean muscular person and an overweight person that both eat a pizza, same carbs, same calories. One of them gains weight, the other stays flat. Now, you don't need a gym to activate your muscles. Let me be very clear. The vast majority of my clients never step foot in the gym. What you need is a minimum of 2 short strength sessions per week or exercise snacks using just body weight throughout the day. These 2 strategies are enough to shift where the energy is getting stored. But here's what ties it all together. Muscle is the largest hormone-producing organ in the body. When you activate it, you improve your insulin sensitivity, your testosterone, your energy production, your mood, your motivation, your dopamine, all at once. So hopefully I've made it clear that skipping muscle activation is going to negatively impact your body and your mind in its entirety. Now, the question to know if this is your bottleneck is just to ask, am I doing these 2 strength sessions per week? Am I engaging my muscles in 60 minutes or more per week? If the answer is no, start here. Now, the 5th bottleneck comes with an analogy that I teach to all of my clients. This bottleneck is nutrient deficiencies. Now, think of your metabolism like an assembly line. Food and oxygen go in one end, energy comes out the other end. But this assembly line has a bunch of workers along it, and these workers are key nutrients like vitamins and minerals. Magnesium, carnitine, iron, zinc, B vitamins. These are all cofactors that make these assembly lines operate at peak efficiency. And without them, just like a normal assembly line, you run the risk of them entirely breaking down. But when it comes to fat loss, here's what really matters. The ability for your body to go out, find fat, and then mobilize it into usable energy is one of those assembly lines. Now, I'm not going to go into every micronutrient that you need for that to happen, but I will ask you this question. Is your body made up of primarily ultra-processed foods or whole nutrient-dense foods? If it's the former, the assembly line is probably short on workers, and no amount of calorie restriction is going to enable you to efficiently tap into your fat storage without those critical pieces. Now, I fully understand that it can be extremely expensive to try and eat a diet that's primarily whole, unprocessed foods. So while that is goal number 1, a supplemental option is just that, a multivitamin supplement. Now, if that feels like low-hanging fruit to you, no pun intended, I'll throw a link to a multivitamin supplement I usually recommend to clients in the description. Now, this 6th bottleneck is one that 90% of my clients overlook. But before we get there, I really hope this is helping you identify which one of these you're dealing with. If you have any questions about any of these, please drop a comment. I will respond to all of them. And if you want to talk about your situation and get more hands-on help, you can book a call using the link in the description. I offer free consultations to help you map that out. We only talk about coaching if it makes sense for you. On to number 6, the one that most people do not think about when their weight loss has stalled out. This is a gut microbiome imbalance. See, your gut has trillions of microbes living in it, and they do far more than just handle digestion. They synthesize hormones like serotonin, which regulates your mood and your happiness. They control your cravings, and they also impact your body's ability to manage blood sugar. When your microbiome is out of balance, you're at a much higher likelihood to be craving sugary, high carbohydrate foods. So your cravings are not just willpower. They are biological and they're coming from your gut. Now, the gut microbiome is infinitely complex. I have another video that you can watch if you want to go through a multi-step fix for a gut imbalance. But the question to ask to know if this is your bottleneck is, do you have regular bowel movements every single day? If that's not happening, your gut is telling you something. And the solution is different depending on where you fall in that spectrum. That's what the other video is all about. But for most people, the solution involves some form of an elimination diet and then daily fermented foods as long as you can tolerate them. So things like probiotic yogurt or kimchi or sauerkraut. Now, the 7th bottleneck might be the most surprising one. And it's the one that works against people more so than almost anything else on the list. It's your social eating environment. Let me explain. Nutrition is the most important input for fat loss. But if you're constantly spending time around people that don't share the same outcome goals that you have, they're going to be choosing different inputs as far as what they eat. Now, if you're eating with them and trying to choose healthier alternatives, every meal with them becomes a willpower tax. Now, here's an example of a recommendation I made to one of my clients named Everett that he found extremely helpful. He had a whole variety of people in his life that we went through and identified where most of his temptations came from. And once we had identified that, anytime he was going to share a meal with somebody that didn't have the same goals as him, he'd eat a high protein, high fiber shake beforehand. Now, this obviously isn't a perfect science, but in practice, that cut down over 75% of the poor meal choices he was making when he was with those groups. Now, there are plenty of strategies for this. I have an entire other video that walks you through how you can stay lean when you're surrounded by people that are eating differently. What matters, regardless of strategy, is you find the one that works for you, that works in those margins. So there are your 7. Sleep, chronic cortisol, the protein-carb stack, a deficit in muscle activation, nutrient deficiencies, a gut microbiome imbalance, and your social eating environment. Now, you can work on more than one at a time, but my recommendation as a coach is to pick the bottleneck, which by definition means there's only one, and focus on that first. Change that one thing and make those changes gradually and just take it one day at a time. You can't overhaul your entire life in one day, and you should not try to. One change that sticks will outperform 7 that fall apart 2 weeks later. If you want help figuring out which one is yours and the best path forward, the free consult link is in the description. And in the meantime, stay tuned for the video next week. I'm going to share a whiteboard breakdown of how GLP-1s work and how you can trigger GLP or glucagon-like peptide completely naturally in the body without any of the nasty side effects. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you there.